do I do it? And she said, Toni, we're all stars in the sky. You just need to sparkle a bit more than the others. And I've just carried it with me because you just think, what can I do to be different?
So I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of this. It means a lot because obviously we've met so many times and I just think your story is just incredible. And so do you want to introduce yourself, Toni?
So, yes, my name is Toni Long. I've worked for Barclays for longer than I can remember, 39 years and counting now. And I've just moved in December, setting up a new team, a new vertical within Barclays, tech and creatives. So hugely exciting, but a mammoth amount of work to do.
Oh, brilliant. How exciting. And how old were you then when was it like straight out of school and then
16.
straight in? Wow. Amazing. So all you know is Barclays.
All I've known is Barclays. Yeah.
Brilliant. But you've had some incredible times and incredible journeys along the way. Brilliant.
It's been. I say to people, you can do anything you like within Barclays. If you're into marketing, you can do that. If you want to be an accountant, you can do this. I mean, it's just so varied. So I've been really lucky and done loads of things.
Excellent. And worked your way up.
Worked my way up.
And what is your actual title?
Oh, it's head of Specialist Tech and Creatives National Team.
Wow.
I know, yeah.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah. It needs to be abbreviated, I think.
Oh.
So, yeah, if you can think of anything, let me know, Vic.
Oh, no, absolutely. And how large is your new team right now?
So the new team will be 50 in total. So we're tiny, we're just growing. So we're just starting off. So
yeah, 50's tiny?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And yeah, it's exciting. So watch this space for the new venture.
Indeed.
Be looking forward to finding all about it. Well, thank you so much. And what I want to do is just tell you a bit about why I'm doing it. So in my career, I've managed to meet and be inspired by some amazing women in business. They've kind of had belief and they've mentored me along the way and made me who I am today. So I think it's really important to share this story with others, especially with me being a mum, a wife, a sister, a daughter. It's so hard to juggle all these roles, but it is achievable, and it's nice to show the next generation, especially because I've got a daughter who's 14. I think it's really important to show her that success is achievable. Diversity in business is absolutely essential, and we're all learning along the way. We're all human, and we just got to support each other. So this, for me, it's lovely to hear everyone's stories and where they are and how they've got there. So looking back, did your career unfold as planned, or has it evolved more organically?
Organically. And it probably didn't really... So when I first joined at 16, so it's 1985, you probably can't remember that, my dad said to me, this isn't a job, it's a career. And back in the day it was. But I think I was possibly a bit of a plodder but wanted to get on.
Yeah.
And it probably wasn't really until I'd had my 3 children and was getting divorced, I was suddenly like, oh my God, it's just me, myself and I was on £17,000 a year as a grade 3 and made a bonkers decision to move to Bristol. So I had a chance to just step in for a PA, to cover a PA's maternity leave. So I did, and then I thought, so I lived in Cornwall, it's dead man's shoes in Cornwall, I'm never going to get on, I've got 3 children to raise now by myself, so I'm going to move to Bristol. And I thought, as long as the children settle, so they would have been, 13, 11 and 9, I'll be okay. But I didn't have anyone to support me. And if they don't settle, I'm absolutely stuffed because I can't afford to move back. So my boss at the time, who was also female, said, you're either mad or brave. And I said, a bit of both, probably. So I did it. And in hindsight, it was the best thing I did. And I did 3 grades in 3 years because I just had to go on. So I was properly focused.
Amazing.
And it wasn't always easy, Vic, because we've had this conversation before. You do have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yeah. And I've sat in on many conversations with girls at work, and typical women thing, they look through a job ad, I can do that, I can't do 5, so I'm not going to bother applying. Whereas the men will just go, I can't do any of them, but I'm still going to apply.
Yes.
So you need to get over that, and you just need to make your own luck, I think. Be comfortable not being comfortable, because that's pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. That's the only time you're going to learn.
I mean,
so
I love you. I love listening to this story. You've told me this story before, because I also I've got 3 children, I've had a divorce, etc. But for me, doing what you've done to move to Bristol, I don't think I could do that, but actually I could. But you did it. You've proved to everyone. I mean, that's inspiring just listening to that, and well done you. And you've really deserved where you are and like the grade you've got, because wow. I mean, was there any time that part of that, like, you were like, oh, have I done the right thing? Or did you...
Yes, I think right at the beginning. So if I was a grade 3 back in the day then, my first grade 4 assessment, I failed.
Did you?
And I was doing the job. Now, when you talk about having supportive boss, this was my boss called Sam. She was fab. And she said to me, what did you do in that interview? I said, I don't know. She said, you were rubbish. Thanks. It wasn't worth that fair, but it wasn't that. And she said, but I know you can do the job, so I'm going to give you an secondment. Well, that was just, when someone just gives you a chance. And then I went all out to prove I was going to be the best operations coach. There was 9 of us. And she did, I was highly rated at the end of the year, because I thought I can't let her down, because she'd given me a chance.
Well, she knew you, and sometimes in an interview, you just go to part, you don't know, like, it doesn't come out the true you set like you. So Sam obviously gave you a chance, and the best one.
Yeah, she did. I was really lucky, and because I always wanted to be outstanding at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I said, how do I do it? And she said, Toni, we're all stars in the sky. You just need to sparkle a bit more than the others. And I've just carried it with me, because you think, what can I do to be different, to stand out from everyone else? It's been sage advice, really. So.
Amazing. Love that. Brilliant. Which female leaders inspired you, and how did they influence and shape your goals?
I think Sam definitely did internally. She was very strong. She was Marmite. You either loved or hated her. But she wasn't frightened to have those tough conversations. And as a leader, you have to have them. And that's when it can start feeling uncomfortable. But she taught me, as long as you do it in the right way and you do everything properly and you've got no redress on yourself and you're supportive, it's the right thing to do. So I've been lucky, because I've had a lady she heads up real estate, the whole of real estate for HSBC, and she mentored me. She was amazing. So I've been really lucky. I've had some really good role models. Well, we equally had some good role models as well as males, but those two, Sharon and Sam, for me, definitely.
Yes. And you never forget it, do you?
No, you don't.
Because I just spoke to you about, I had a role model, and it was, I've had a few throughout my journey, and I feel like it, even now, like so long ago, I remember the exact moment when she pushed me for a job, and I remember looking up to her and thinking, I want to be like her. She's amazing. It's
I think it's a strength. I think they both had that strength. They come over as unflappable. I knew Sam, I knew equally, so I knew quite well in the end that actually she'd be quite worried about things. So that kind of gave me sort of strength, thinking it's okay to feel a bit worried about stuff, because that's how most people will do.
We're all human.
Exactly.
We all go through these emotions, and this is exactly it. And I find this when I have to talk to like some CEOs and chief operating officers in banks, and at first I was like, oh, I don't talk to them, but everyone's just human. They've all got they've all got families and their own kind of life outside of work as well. And we need to remember that when we talk to them.
You do. And I think, I hate saying this, but I'm going to say it, being menopausal doesn't help either, because that will probably knock your confidence. I've been in some big meetings with MDs there and thinking, just giving a speech and thinking, I can't remember the word I need now. So
this is it.
And that can knock your confidence. But I found being honest really helps. So I'll just pause and say, I'm really sorry, it's my menopausal brain. It'll catch up with me in a minute. And it normally just makes it a bit easier for me. It takes the pressure off me. So
100%. I totally agree with that. And I've just had a conversation actually with Callum in the car on the way up, saying about how people speak. And I think sometimes that don't try and use all these big words and that, because sometimes people just want the simple language, and as long as you get to the point of what it is. So I totally agree with that. What drives you each day, and how do you stay motivated?
I just think it's the new challenges, and so I'm really lucky. So I'm normally in a role for about 18 months, 2 years, and I get bored, so I can find something else. So I definitely advocate that. If you're in a job and you don't like it, just go and find something you love, because you're a long time at work. So make sure you love it. I just think I genuinely like people. I love helping them. I don't necessarily like having the tough conversations, but if they need to be had, they need to be had. So I still feel really passionate about what I do. So I love it.
Yeah,
and if I
brilliant.
didn't love it, I could have retired a couple of years ago, and I chose not to. So
Brilliant.
yeah.
I love that. And I'm sure we've missed out something there. I'm sure holidays motivate
Oh
you
yeah,
too.
yeah. Holidays as well. Yeah. Thank you, Jamie.
Exactly. I know you like a holiday.
Yeah,
so
like a holiday too.
Oh, brilliant. But yeah, absolutely, you deserve it. So. And have you faced any moments of self-doubt or this imposter syndrome that we talk about? And how have you overcome that?
Yes. I just think, lots of times I'd be lying if I said I didn't. And I think it's where your resilience comes into play. And I think if you've got someone you can speak to about it and say, do you know what, I'm feeling like this today, and they can help you through, brilliant. It's normally Jamie, to be fair, for me. So if you've got an understanding husband, that really works. But sometimes at work as well, I think it's really important just to voice it. And sometimes I'm lucky because Jamie has worked in the bank, so he gets the industry.
Yeah.
If you're not married to someone who's worked in the bank or doesn't get it, then if you've got someone at work you can trust and just say, this is what I'm feeling, what do you see? Can you help me? Most people will take time out and help you, and I would do that for anyone. But yeah, it's a bit, sometimes you think, oh, I can't do this. And you think, don't be ridiculous. Of course you can. You did it last year. Oh, and you just have those moments. But I think that's quite natural, and I think it's a resilience thing.
And I think it's nice that we talk about it. Like
women are much better.
Absolutely. I've said this before because we like to share, and that really does help us. Where men just sometimes, some men do share, but a lot of the time they like just carry on even though they're feeling it, and they just, I don't know. They obviously get there, but I just always think it's nice to talk about. So I'm like you, and I try and open up with people, but I also try and get them to open up to me and be that trusting person, because I think that's really important as well.
It's hugely important. I think, and sometimes I listened to someone yesterday on a call and I thought, they seem really flat today. So I rang them afterwards, said, you're right, and they were struggling a bit. So it's quite nice for you to notice. I wouldn't expect anyone to notice of me necessarily, but only those closest to you, I suppose, would. I think we're just a bit off colour, but...
absolutely. But like Jamie, like you say, I mean, he's definitely a mentor in our business. So, definitely.
Yeah.
And have you always felt supported by those around you, such as family, friends, colleagues?
Family, friends, yes. Colleagues, yes. Bosses, no. Which is really hard. And so I think not this boss, not my last boss, but the one before that completely dented my confidence.
Oh.
And that's those moments of self-doubt. And that was a real struggle. And then they lost their job. I wonder why. And then I had a change of boss, and it was just like a new lease of life. So I just think I stayed there. I got on with the job. I did the job. But if your boss isn't on side, and I don't think I realised it until afterwards, to be honest.
And it makes a huge
massive
impact.
Massive difference.
Because we spend a lot of time at work, and if you feel like that, that's just, So you feel when he went, it was just
it was a she. It was a she. She went. So I can give you an example, and I think, probably because I'm too old. In my penultimate one-to-one review, she was talking about one of my leaders saying, I don't think they're very intelligent. I said, I think she is intelligent. And then she said, I think you're intelligent. You just hide it well.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, wow.
So you just think, I'm a bit too old, but now I look back and think, I would never say that to anyone.
No.
But it wasn't until she went, I thought, I didn't realise I was so unhappy until she went.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Yeah.
Anyway.
Wow.
Done.
Yeah, exactly. You learn and you get stronger and you become more resilient, don't you?
Exactly.
And having family, friends and being a leader, how do you balance your personal and your professional life?
So when I had the 3 children and I moved to Bristol, my promise to them, and I still do it to this day, is I would never work at the weekend. Yeah. So the weekend I was all theirs. We'd always have dinner together in the evening. But then after dinner, so maybe 7 o'clock, I would have to work. And that was how I balanced it, because you have to. And to this day, I'll either start early or work late, but I don't work at the weekend. Amazing. I mean, I would if I had to, if I absolutely had to. But that's how I balanced it. And I just think you have to find what works for you. And that might not work. It might be, I don't want to work in the evenings. I've got young children. I've got to get them to sleep. They don't settle. But I could probably afford Saturday morning maybe. Yes. So you just need to find your own little bit.
Yeah, and I feel like when I'm talking to other ladies, they're kind of saying the same. It's the red tape that they're like, right, I will not give up this, like taking the children to school. I want to do that every day, but what I will do is then work later. And I think that's good, isn't it? And,
It is.
and I think it works, helps with your work at home as well, helps the kids understand what's going on and the routine.
I agree, and I also think it teaches them as well.
I
Because
totally
you're setting
agree.
your role model, aren't you? So I think
100% agree. They see you working hard and they absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And I'm like that with my children. Like even now, to earn pocket money, they have little jobs
good.
because I think it just sets them up. And I do that because I did that when I was younger. My mum and dad made us. So and I think it kind of is.
You need to learn. Yeah,
Yeah.
You just need to learn the value of money for sure. Yeah.
That definitely. How do you manage stress and avoid burnout whilst maintaining resilience within the career?
I think I recognise better now when I'm stressed. So I was a bit stressed, bizarrely, going to Belfast this weekend. I said to Jamie, I feel really stressed, but I think it was a lot on at work. I'm trying to do my degree course as well, and it's all getting a bit too much. So I just think you just have to time out.
Yeah.
So what I did that week, and this sounds ridiculous, is I just went to what I watched. I used to watch a program called The Split, and they had a 2-part series in Barcelona. So I thought, I'm not doing work tonight. I'm just going to go take time out and go and watch that. So I think you need to recognise it, and then you need to think, take time out, and then come back to it. And I think that's what I try and do. But I recognise I can feel myself getting stressed now, so I think I'll just stop, take 5.
Definitely. And you do exercise, don't
I do
you?
exercise.
So that, I feel like that for me, that helps me massively.
Definitely helps. And I think I've let it slip because it's so dark in the morning. So I have a trainer twice a week, and I try to cycle 10 miles 5 days a week.
Amazing.
And if I don't do it first thing, I can feel myself just getting more and more wound up. So exercise is definitely key to stress relief.
Definitely. And I'm the same as you. I like to do it in the morning. And I feel it just sets you up for the day.
It does.
And you think about
Agreed.
what your day, don't you? And kind of set your standards. But yeah, I totally agree. What's the most important lessons that you've learned throughout your career, would you say?
Always be honest. If you've made a mistake, just say, oh, I've made a mistake. Always be honest. I think, and be honest with people. So I think, if someone's done a good job, praise them, be honest about it. If they've made a mistake or done something wrong, be honest about it. And you can still, have those difficult conversations, but you can do it in a nice way. And it's always to be honest, because as my gran used to say, liars need good memories. So I think probably through life, it's just about being honest with people, isn't it?
I totally agree. And we get in the kind of the similar answers on this question, And I think sometimes it is just to say, like when people are asking a question, if you don't know it, just hold your hands up and just say, I actually don't know it, but I'll find out and I'll come back to you.
Exactly
because there's no point in trying to
fib
over it. And
I think I can wing it with the best of them, but I know my limits. I think, no, I don't know that. I also think it's about properly listening to people, and whether you agree with them or not, I really try and understand why they think like that, because that's your diversity of thought, isn't it? And even if I still don't agree with them, It's really interesting. So I think listen to people, but always be honest, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. How do you define success, both professionally and personally?
Ooh, tough one. I think as a leader, so obviously hitting all your aspirations is one, but I think for me, with the people I manage, is how have they got on? And if I can help them progress, that is probably the most satisfaction I get. I mean, I'm really sorry to lose them, but I'm delighted that I've helped them on their journey. Personal-wise, it's just surviving the gym, I think, Vicki, with my personal trainer. I don't know, it's too early to say. I think you kind of, I'm probably my own worst critic, but with a degree, if I get that or not, I'll know.
I know.
Won't I know?
Well, just touching on that, obviously, you're doing a degree as well as doing the job that you do and the grade you are. So that in itself is amazing. But you're doing it in interior design, aren't you?
Yeah, something completely different.
I know, but I think that's amazing. And you're obviously finding the time to do it, but incredible.
I think it is, but I think it's something I love. And when it's your passion, it's easier, isn't it? Because I was doing it on holiday. I do it every holiday we go on, and Jamie said, but it isn't work, is it? Because you love doing it. And it is. I love doing it. So it doesn't feel like work. So,
definitely. And then also, just touching on the professional side, we just talked about before we started filming, you said about the grade you are in your job, you actually still call round and speak to team members, and they're like, wow, Toni's calling me, and like they don't expect a call off you, but that means so much to them.
It does, and I strongly believe, and it's true, you're only as good as your team. I don't do their job day in, day out. I'm not the coalface. So for me to understand, it's the closest I'm going to get to doing their job.
Yeah.
So to understand what they're facing and to help them, you know, if there's something wrong. And I do say to them, we had this offline, I don't know if I just say, if it's great, good, but if it's shit, let me know. And I use that language because I can, deliberately, because I want them to think, oh, because she's not that, this high grade person, because I want to be on their level as much as I can. And it's amazing. It's amazing the stuff you get back if you genuinely care about people and just try and help them.
Definitely.
You're never going to fix the world.
Yeah.
But if you can do a few bits and they can see you trying to help, it just makes it better.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're building their trust, absolutely. So yeah, I think that's incredible. Amazing. What's next for you?
Oh, I don't know, Vicky. It's going to be retirement, isn't it? You know? 39 years done, 40 this year, so it won't be much longer. So I want to see the team through this year. I want to see it perform next year, and then probably looking at retirement, I suspect.
Yeah, oh wow. And be on holiday all the time.
I'll find something to do. I think that's partly, I find it really difficult to relax. See, I can lay on a sun lounger for so long and then I get fidgety. So
yeah, I'm like that. Yeah. That's it.
So I don't know.
Yeah, well, we said before, didn't you? The interior design
stuff.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely. You come round to my house. I love interior design. Just like you give me some tips. And then the last question is, my daughter, Poppy's 14, she's just about to choose her options I know, she's in year 9 and she's for her GCSEs. So what bit of advice would you give to her if she was sitting here?
I think you're a long time at work, as we discussed earlier. Every day at work, you spend a long time. Do something you love.
Yeah.
Just go into something you love doing. Because if I'd done that, I definitely wouldn't have been in banking. I would have been more creative and I would have gone down the art route. That's not to say I haven't loved what I've done. I have. But I think now that's the advice I would give to my 14-year-old self.
Definitely.
Do something you love.
It's so young, isn't it, 14? And I'm very the same as you. I'm really creative and I'm like the same. So how have we ended up in banking? But very much the same. I loved my banking career. 22 years at NatWest was amazing. But yeah, I always think 14 is such a young age. So that is exactly.
Yeah, and also if she changed your mind, because you're 14, for goodness sake,
yeah, I know.
That's all right as well. So it's difficult not to put yourself under pressure, I guess.
Yeah.
Poor old Poppy, I'm glad I'm not 14 anymore.
I know.
But then sometimes I think, maybe if I was and I knew what I knew now, it'd be totally different.
Yeah, I know. We wound back the clock.
Poppy, do something you love, and if you change your mind, that doesn't matter either.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Oh, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome.